morning and welcome to episode 15 of Wake Up West Orange. Today is a special day. It's a day God made, but also we have the Ashley Wells here in studio, and we're trying to get him just to come on this morning, but he just wants to look at us and smile as we video this. But whatever we do today, it needs to be extra peppy. Number one, to entertain Ashley, but secondly, Angie's informed us she's very tired, didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so we don't want Angie to go asleep.
She's the only one, if any of us that actually does anything. Right?
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're ready to have fun. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes as viewers. And so I realize, guys, that I'm getting older. I mean, we're getting older every day, right? But it's kind of weird in the fact that Jamie and I are getting ready to go see an attorney, and it's not because we're getting a divorce, but she sent me this stuff this week, the beginning of the week, and we're getting ready to go to set up a will. So have y'all ever set up a will? Or
we have done a lot of talking about getting that. We're in the planning stages of that ourselves
so
right
you're
now.
That,
but
okay.
No, we keep going in circles because it's so much to think about and to plan. It's a lot.
Yes, but I was also just thinking, my mom recently passed away. We went through a lot of those details with stuff, and it came even to more light with like my sister, who's her and her husband are 10 years older than us, and their kids are older and have kids, but they didn't have one yet either. And you don't consider the fact that no matter how old you are, when your kids have to then go through those details, if they're not ready, if we didn't, I don't know what Tucker would do if we didn't have anything prepared, and if it's not done correctly, which is great that y'all are going to go, figure that out. So we just know so many couples that are talking about this right now. It's really interesting that everybody's really thinking about having their kids not just taken care of, but like, are they prepared for the future? Which making plans for the future is, not what everybody considers, unfortunately.
Yeah, so. And I got this email from her, from the attorney, like we had filled out some different things, and it's 9 documents, and it's what for the kids, it's what happens if this happens to you, and you're sitting there like, well, hopefully all that stuff's like 40 years from now, but anyway, it just...
Apparently you don't drive in Orlando enough to...
Yeah, we did just survive, it was going to be a hurricane and then reduced to a tropical storm and all that good stuff. So, But anyway, what can we segue into from that very exciting morning topic?
Well, making plans, you really never know what's going to happen sometimes, and that doesn't have to be a negative viewpoint. Here's an interesting thing. People keep saying, like one of the radio stations here where we live, in case you're watching from some other place, is Z88. And every time they start talking, they say, in these uncertain times, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, okay, here's my thought on that. It's never been certain. We've actually never known what really might happen, and that's okay, because God knows. I feel like we maybe have said this before, I'm not sure, but whatever. But I don't find that intimidating. I find it comforting to know I might not know that everything's going to go the way I planned it, but if God's part of this, it works out.
Yeah, the stuff in 2020 is just the latest stuff. We were on a recent Zoom live group with Carlos Aarons, who's in the banking industry, and he's like, do you guys remember in 1999 how crazy it was before Y2K and everything, and all the money that was spent and everything everyone was worried about, and it was uncertain, but everything was okay when it was said and done. So when we think about Bible stories, think about a Bible story we might share. But I think about Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and what? Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him. He'll make your paths straight. So whatever our circumstances are, verses like that just become more meaningful and relevant. So.
Well, and I think that we've got a lot of Bible stories that you can look at. I think about the story of David and Goliath. You have David, who is a shepherd. He's on his way to go and take his brothers some lunch, and when he gets there and sees the scene, he knows, okay, so plans changed for the day. This is what I'm now going to be doing. He says, okay, well, what are we going to do about this?
Who's going to fight this guy? Are y'all not going to do it?
Yeah, so okay, well, I can do this. And everybody laughs at him, and he doesn't say, well, let me make a plan, I need a battle strategy, I need to go do some training. I would think I would need some training, but no, he knows he's got God, and he picks up a rock, and that's it. And so sometimes, maybe our plans, I'm not saying planning is bad, because I do think planning is important, but maybe that's not the most important.
I think we're supposed to plan. I think God expects us to do our part, but he also wants us to remember that he has a part in it, if not the biggest part, and we have to kind of let both those things. I remember recently you said, you might have gotten this from someone else, you may have come up with it, I don't know, but it had more something to do with Moses. What was that you used as an example? Like, we've got a staff. Like let's what you have is what we're going to use.
Yeah, what's in your hand?
What's in your hand? That was
Jerry
it.
Jascott.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Jerry
what a
had
genius.
mentioned that to me. Yeah.
But like David was sort of the same way, in the sense that he comes into this situation and looks and sees all that, and not only does he just like go grab what he had a sling. He's like, well, we can make this work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the king tried what most of us sometimes do, or find ourselves other people trying to help us. He's like, oh, well then let's use this, and let's use this sword and all this. And he's like, none of this fits me. Mm-hmm. It physically didn't fit him, but it didn't fit what he could do at his age, at his size at that time. I think that all goes with the same concept, that he's like, yeah, thank you for your suggestions, but let's just try this. And which is probably what God was thinking the whole time too. You're wasting time here.
Yeah.
So,
also in that story, like you said, David didn't even know, like he's there, bringing a meal, checking on them.
Yeah.
He didn't know, okay, I'm going to actually be the one here in the next moment on the battlefield with Goliath. But also he starts thinking about things God had already been doing in his life to give him the courage that he needed. He's like, look, when they start arguing with him, hey, who are you to go out there, David? And he's like, battle belongs to the Lord. He's been with me. I've had to fight lions and bears. And so he already knew the spiritual timber that he had because of how God had been doing that. And we don't need to miss that even with young people in our midst, that maybe we think, they're not ready for something more challenging or whatever. And a lot of that's your job, Tim. You're our youth and family minister. So. Okay. but you probably more than anyone's like, hey, what's, they need challenges, and God is preparing them to do big things. And we've got some of our kids, they're getting ready to they've been in the process this month of going to college at different times. And you sit there and you've been working with them for the last many years, and they're ready for that. They're going to have big challenges at college, but they're ready for them. They're equipped for them. But there's so much there in the story of David.
I find myself, you say that, because I don't think that it's up to me. They have parents.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So I want the parents to be the biggest influence in their life, and they usually are, even if they don't realize it. Yeah. But I talk to every student I find before they leave in whatever direction they go, far away or across town or whatever, and I just say, you're going to be fine. You're ready, have fun, go do it, do your thing. Your plans are going to change. It's going to be okay. I've been saying that this week to 2 or 3 of them that, or last week, to think some things that changed. So, you just have to, at some point, you have to believe that you can and go. Yep. Whatever that is in life. So just go for it.
Well, and like you said, everything works out. I usually don't share this with kids that are making those decisions about college, because I don't think it's the best example. But so when I graduated from high school, most people by the time they've graduated high school, they already know, right? They have the plan. Here's where I'm going. Here's whatever. I was so laid back by then. Like I didn't know. I had not made a decision. And I was telling people in July, well, I'm kind of thinking about this school in Nashville. I'm thinking about this school here in Western Tennessee. There's this I got a full ride offer out to Colorado. I really don't know. And actually, I kind of joke with people that my mom ended up deciding. She just was basically, hey, yeah, I think Brian's going here. And then I started hearing people, I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to Lipscomb. So, I almost by not deciding, it kind of just happened, and that was what was meant to be for me. But again, it kind of goes again. Yeah, we're supposed to plan and do things, but for me, I didn't feel this pressure like I just have to decide here or now or whatever. But it's good to make those decisions and stuff. But that was kind of how it worked out for me, and it did work out.
Yeah. Brett, Angie's husband, is a hilarious guy. I love that he's a friend of mine and had influence in a lot of people's lives and all that. But the thing that we've talked about lately is there's a movie that I have not seen called Yes Man with Jim Carrey. Probably a good movie. I don't know. If it has bad language, Brian told you to watch it. But in that movie, I know the concept is the guy just finds himself, his life is more fulfilling. He just says yes. Hey, can you help me? Yes. Hey, you want to meet for dinner? Yes. Everything is yes. And you might have to back up and say, hey, I know I said yes, but this came up. But I'm starting to do that more too. We have some guys that go out to eat every week, and I just always say, I'm going. Kayla is fine with that kind of stuff. For me, I don't need permission or whatever. But also, I just want to go. If something happens, I don't get to go, I don't get to go. But maybe there's something to that with life. A lot of people, I think, find more excuses to say no than reasons to say yes, or flip that around however you want to.
And that's what they were doing with David in that story.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's a great point.
But yeah, David, it's not you. You're too young.
Yeah.
You don't have the arm. You've never been to battle.
Yeah.
Any of that kind of stuff. They're putting all those scripts that were in their
made
minds,
all the excuses for
projecting onto him. But yet he's like, wait a minute, you guys don't know what I know about God and what He's revealed about me through Him. The battle belongs to Him, and that giant's too big not to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and sometimes I think we get so focused on what our plan is, and okay, I'm supposed to do this and then this and then this, that we might be focused on that plan and not look up and see that great opportunity that God has designed for us right there. And so that goes kind of with your point of, let's say yes and just make that our attitude. But we've got to be open and looking for those opportunities that come up.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we think about our relationships with people, and we think about our opportunities to whether it's friendship or ministry or teaching and educate, that there's been so much disruption. We've spent a little bit of time on that with this webcast from week to week, but you're right, there are some great opportunities, and if we will be open to them and have that posture of yes, not, well, this is what, that wouldn't work, or not whatever, that there are opportunities to connect with people, and there are opportunities to grow in relationships and friendships, and God, again, not that He orchestrates everything. There's free will and there's disease and all those kind of things that happen, but yeah, through everything, God is sovereign, and there's ways that He's going to work His plan regardless of circumstances or negatives. So yeah, we need to have that attitude of yes, and that David had of hey, why not? Why not go out there? Why let this happen any longer where this giant is taunting the people of God?
Right. Well, I appreciate the discussion today. I love leaving our time with more to think about than maybe you realize that we've said in front of you or whatever. So I appreciate y'all very much, and thank y'all for watching.
Bye, guys.